Hello and welcome to LFC Focus. So Liverpool have just beaten the second best team in the world by 4-3. And yeah, we nearly threw it away. We nearly just threw the entire thing in the bin in the last 10 minutes. But who cares? Because Liverpool have just won 4-3 against Pep Guardiola's Manchester City, becoming the first side in England to actually do that this season. And it was a fantastic performance from Liverpool, filled with some brilliant individual performances from some of our players. Like Andrew Robertson had an absolute stormer today. You know, he had a great game in the Merseyside derby, had Balassi in his pocket for a lot of the game. It looked like it was going to be a tough match, but he made it as easy as he possibly could in the Merseyside derby. Again, he's come out today up against Raheem Sterling. You know, could have been a really difficult afternoon for him up against the City winger, who I think is Man City's top scorer as well. So it was no mean feat for Andrew Robertson to basically just say, no, actually, you're getting in my pocket as well. I'm going to have a great game again, and you are going to suffer because of it. And he does that against Raheem Sterling. Andy Robertson just had a brilliant game, got forward pretty nicely as well. Didn't have to do too much of that, obviously, against a Man City side that just love getting forward themselves. Most of what he was going to have to do was defensive, and he did it brilliantly. And also, you know, whenever Dejan Lovren was caught out of position a little bit, Andy Robertson was just there, coming into the centre-back role, sweeping things up. Sergio Aguero, who's he? Don't care. Ball away. Absolutely fantastic from Andrew Robertson. He was brilliant. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain had a brilliant game as well. You know, he was everything that I think Jurgen Klopp has wanted Phil Coutinho to be in that midfield role for Liverpool. You know, linking things up with the attack, leading a press as well, kind of doing what Adam Lallana did last season, charging forward, showing so much desire, winning the ball back so high up the pitch, just constantly, again and again. For all the talk before the game of how well Man City hold onto the ball and how difficult it was going to be to get the ball off of them when they're in possession and all the stuff like that, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain just made it look like the easiest thing in the world to just go up to City's players and nick the ball off them and start an attack. He was absolutely brilliant, especially in the first half. So a great game from him, looking like a real prospect going forward, because, you know, there's been all sorts of doom and gloom talk today so far about the transfer window and about Liverpool's efforts to replace Phil Coutinho, but based on that Oxlade-Chamberlain performance there, I am fine with him doing that between now and the end of the season. I'm absolutely fine with it because he was absolutely boss. Other players as well. Emre Can was just incredible as the midfield enforcer, making tackles, winning the ball, blocking Man City's players off. Jorginho Wijnaldum as well could have done with a little bit more going forward and stuff like that. But in terms of winning the ball back, it was like Oxlade-Chamberlain, and that he just made it look so easy. And that was the important thing going into the game. I said in the pre-match video, Liverpool need their midfielders to bring their absolute A game going into this match if we are to win that midfield battle against Man City. I was expecting Lallana's start. Klopp went with Oxlade-Chamberlain. Turns out it was an inspired decision to do so. Liverpool's midfield bossed the game today. They were absolutely brilliant, and in the end, I think that is one of the reasons why we won the match. So the goals then, starting off with an Oxlade-Chamberlain pile driver to open the scoring in the 9th minute of the match. It was an absolutely brilliant goal from the guy and epitomised his performance in general, in that Firmino wins the ball back, lays it off to Oxlade-Chamberlain, and Ox just charges at that City defence. He absolutely goes for them. It's almost Steven Gerrard-esque in the way that he just marches towards that Man City back line, and then right when they think he might try and, you know, get round one of them or play a pass, he just lashes it into the bottom corner. And it's such a good finish because it is so easy to not catch those shots right. You know, when you're going low from that kind of distance and that angle as well, you have to get it perfectly. And Oxlade-Chamberlain just did. Brilliant power, brilliant placement. It just curls away a tiny bit from Ederson at the end as well, who, you know, there were people who criticised Ederson, had a go at him a little bit, but I think, you know what, you just have to bow down and say that is a brilliant shot from Oxlade-Chamberlain to give Liverpool the lead, and nothing more than he deserves for what was a brilliant performance from Liverpool. And we had a good first half after that. You know, we kept getting forward. We reduced City to not really having many chances at all. They didn't really have a go at our goal in the first half. We looked like we were going to get another goal. We were a little bit wasteful at times. Looked like we didn't quite have too many ideas going forward. Possibly we missed Phil Coutinho's creativity in that first half, but obviously we didn't in the second half, as I'll come on to later. But then, of course, Man City get the goal. Joe Gomez gets sent to the shops twice by Leroy Sané, which was quite poor, very disappointing. I think there's a possibility that he is starting to tire just a wee bit. I think if we give Trent Alexander-Arnold the next game against Swansea and give Joe Gomez just a bit of a wee rest, because obviously he is a centre-back playing out of position. He's doing a lot more running than maybe he'd expect to do in the centre-back position, so he is going to get a wee bit tired every now and then. So I'm not going to heap too much blame on Joe Gomez there. And obviously Leroy Sané beats Karius at the near post, which is hugely disappointing. I get the feeling Karius started this game because Jurgen Klopp is potentially thinking, I'm hoping anyway, fingers crossed, about signing a goalkeeper in this January transfer window. And it's possible that he just wants to have one last look at his goalkeepers before he dives into the transfer market. There was a suggestion that he's doing so with a view to getting a goalie in the summer, and this could be the start of Karius having a long run in the first team. But I just think if he's going to have a run all the way through to the end of the season, why drop him in against Man City? It just doesn't make sense. So I think this is Karius's last chance saloon audition to show that he is good enough to be Liverpool's number one. Sadly, I think he has failed it yet again. Another Karius audition has gone completely pear-shaped. And the problem is this: he hasn't got his arms up. He's just not expecting the shot. And, you know, we talked about this with the Sigurdsson goal in that, you know, maybe he wouldn't have had a chance of saving it even if he went for it. But you've got to at least try. You've got to have an effort. And then maybe you've got a little bit more of a chance of actually stopping the ball going in. If Loris Karius goes up there and puts his hands up like that, which when you're a goalkeeper, your job is to stop the ball going in the net. So, you know, there's nothing else for you to do. Just put your hands up and try and stop it. He doesn't do that. He lets the ball in, and Man City get back into the game. And then obviously you then have the second half, and Liverpool just went absolutely mental for 10 minutes. They went completely mad. Bobby Firmino, my favourite Liverpool player, I think it's safe to say, just shrugs off John Stones. You could argue that John Stones should do better there, but let's just give some praise to Bobby Firmino. Shrugs him off, sends him away and says, nah, this is my ball, get lost you, and then dinks it past Ederson in absolutely beautiful style. So if there's any doubt over Roberto Firmino being the right number 9 for Liverpool, look at that goal. It's just the pressing, the ability to win the ball, the strength to keep hold of the ball, and then the audacity to chip one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League. It was absolutely boss. It was absolutely lovely, and I'm chuffed for Roberto Firmino there, doing it on one of the biggest stages he can possibly do it on. And then, of course, the Mane goal as well, just lashes it, just absolutely smashed the ball past Ederson into the top corner in fantastic style. You know, Mane again wasn't really having a great game. He seemed to be struggling against Kyle Walker. Every time he was running, he had Kyle Walker in his way, and he didn't seem to have too many ideas about what to do. I think he was lacking a little bit of support. He was maybe, you know, not used to not having Phil Coutinho to his right hand side there. So he was struggling a little bit. He was struggling to get into the game to try and help out the rest of Liverpool's front three. But there he gets the ball and says, actually, you know what? Let's just have a go, because it worked against Burnley, smacking it in with your left foot. So he does it again, and it goes in, top corner, absolutely beautiful shot. Liverpool are in dreamland by this point, and Man City are in complete disarray. They don't know what's going on. They don't know how to stop Liverpool. Ederson has this mad idea about coming miles out of his box, thinking maybe this will work, maybe it won't. Accidentally slices it to Mo Salah, who, you know, a lesser player would have just accidentally sliced that wide or sent it over or just missed the target by a little bit. Maybe it would have got cleared off the line because he wouldn't have put enough power on it. But no, Mo Salah is a god, and Mo Salah knows exactly what to do there. He just loops it over Ederson, curls it past those City players from 35 yards out into the empty net, and Liverpool fans are in complete dreamland. It was a mad 10 minutes. It was a boss 10 minutes. It was a beautiful 10 minutes. And City, from there on in, just basically didn't have a chance. Or did they? Because they then got back into the game, didn't they? I mean, Liverpool were just so obsessed with the idea of getting more goals. We could have got 5, we could have got 6, we could have got 7, the way we were just blitzing their defence and constantly charging at them. But fair play to City, even at that stage, they didn't say, you know what, let's just spare our blushes, stop all these goals happening and take the 4-1 thrashing and go home. They still came at Liverpool. Unfortunately, I think we just lost our heads late on in the game. You know, we'd been performing so well. I think it might have been maybe an adrenaline thing. They just got too excited. and we were just in complete defensive disarray at the end. You know, the Bernardo Silva goal, everyone's all over the shop trying to reach the ball. He doesn't get picked up and he has an easy finish. The Gundogan goal, you know, it's a mistake from Dejan Lovren, I think, who just lets the ball fly over his head, a la Spurs at Wembley earlier on in the season. Gundogan has a shot, has a goal, and it's quite disappointing. You know, it takes a little bit of a sheen off the result, but you know what? Who cares? Who cares? Liverpool have still won. It doesn't matter if it's 4-3 or 4-1 because the performance was amazing. The goals were brilliant. We were absolutely fantastic, as we always are these days, especially against the big teams under Jurgen Klopp. We've come away with 3 points. We've ended their unbeaten run in domestic football. We are now third in the Premier League table, level on points with Man United, depending on what happens in their game against Stoke tomorrow night. Absolutely flying, and honestly, just bring on more games like this, to be honest. I'm just desperate for the Champions League to come back because this felt like one of those Champions League nights where Liverpool just welcome a brilliant team into Anfield, give them all the hospitality, get them on the pitch and thrash the living daylights out of them. And I just want to see more of that, to be honest. I want more big, amazing, beautiful games like this. Sadly, it's Swansea next, which is less exciting, but you know, with this Liverpool team, they're absolutely boss. They are brilliant, and hopefully they can carry on marching on and get second place and, you know, whisper it quietly, but maybe even first. Wouldn't that be lovely? That's all for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to give it a like if you enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button if you're new around here. Check out some of the other videos that have been out on the channel over the past few days as well. Don't forget to follow at LFC Focus TV on Twitter, and I'll be back with either some transfer news or build-up content for the game against Swansea next Monday night. Bye for now.